This is how you level up.
You gotta show up every fucking day.
You're not as far away from these dreams as you think you are.
You have to think I am the best guy out there.
You need to get things done.
Mr. Carter.
Mr. C.
Mr. Harry Carter.
Paul Campbell.
How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you.
What have you been up to this week?
I've been painting pumpkins this morning with my daughter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And then went shopping.
Yeah.
And then work.
Or just all week? Just
all week.
Yeah.
Working late.
Yeah.
Working late, trying to get everything sorted for a couple of projects. And then I've got a development that we're waiting on, literally solicitors, where we're just at the last little hurdle for solicitors to like just complete on this building that we're hoping to buy. And it's just
hard work.
Solicitors have gone on holiday.
Oh, brilliant.
And then it's like, oh, well, I'll be back in 2 weeks. And then it's like, it'll take probably another 2 weeks for the solicitor to then do his work.
Yeah.
And that'll probably cost me 14 grand because of that delay.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of a bit of a annoying
setback.
Yeah. So, spoke to the company that we're dealing with, and they've thankfully put me in touch with another conveyancing solicitor, which is good. So we're hopefully going to bring it forward.
Nice.
And hopefully complete next week, which is exciting.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah, really good.
What have I been up to? I've been working. I've just been working, grafting and editing and doing that side of things, and back onto my electrical stuff. And
that's what it's all about, isn't it? Like graft.
Yeah.
Graft.
That's all it can be about. It's hard work. So welcome to the Tub.
Thanks for the invite.
This is the Take You Back podcast.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into a different realm of the Take You Back podcast, where previously we was doing it was more like music generated.
Sorry, mate, I've got something in my eye.
It's all right, mate. Don't worry about your eye. It was like music generated where, it was off the cuff, off the back of old school kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we're now channeling into kind of businesses where,
it's really good.
And more commercial stuff.
Yeah.
More corporate.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Where we are going, we're taking people back, and we're building this, and we're building some content, and for marketing, and obviously like for yourself.
Yeah.
And basically just to get more recognition for businesses and things like that. Where nowadays it's how can I say it? It's a
bit dry at the moment, social media and stuff.
Everything's visual, so everything's visual.
You need that personality where it comes across, don't you?
Very personal, and that's the way it's shifting. Everybody's doing vlogging.
Yeah.
It's TikTok, all these kind of things, and so I'm kind of like changing with the times and going down that route, and and this is why we're here in the studio at the end of the day. That's why the studio's here. So that's a little bit about me, and a bit about the history of this podcast, a little bit, But yeah, let's go back with you. I mean, you what did you say your title was?
Sorry, mate.
It's all right.
My title. So I'm a joiner by trade, and I'm now actually a chartered building surveyor.
Chartered building surveyor.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that involve?
So becoming chartered, very briefly, you've got to go to university. You've got to then go through a very rigorous assessment of professional competence, making sure that you're basically competent enough to go in the outside world and have that profession. And have the RICS accreditation behind you, and if you're not to that kind of standard, you're basically not able to become a chartered member of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. So there's a very it's 2 years basically you've got to do once you've got your credentials for university. You then do something called your assessment of professional competence, which then there's like modules for different technical assessments that you can then get assessed on, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Complex.
Very complex, technical. The detail. My mindset has always been very detailed, right from an early age. It's always been. I'm kind of anal in that kind of perspective, where when I'm looking at drawings and just want to make sure it's right first time, and that kind of technical detail as a surveyor, particularly like building pathology and the likes of like looking at buildings and understanding how they're going to, you know, are they going to fall down, for instance, or finding a defect,
of
and
course.
then understanding how that defect then occurred. It can be quite complex sometimes, particularly on. You're laughing at me.
Stop laughing.
I know. Like, this is professional, but I'm ready.
Just needed to do that because I need to cut that out. Let me get these laughs out.
I knew this would happen. I've just gone from like.
No, it's going to be fine, honestly.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We're just what you just can't. Like,
Let me have a bit of this.
I know. I keep repeating myself as well, don't I?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So this is great. Really, it makes it more personal. People can see who I actually am. You know, we're here on a Sunday night at 9:45 at night.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, and this is all about business. Like, business just doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop.
And people don't see that really.
No.
Where, you know, this is the grind. When you run your own business, you've got to be up early in the morning.
Yep.
You've got to be doing stuff during the daytime to do your standard stuff, and then nighttime, for instance, doing this podcast with you now.
Yeah.
You've got to go out your way, and you know, your kids and things like that. They've got to be put on the back burner, and you've got to find time to do it.
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, you wouldn't have the lifestyle, or you wouldn't be able to provide, or you wouldn't be able to, you know, get into that mindset, you know, if you didn't do any of this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If you didn't put the hours in, you've got to put the hours in to get it out.
Absolutely. And
otherwise, it's just there's just no point. There's just no point doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, you might as well just sit on the dole.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
The dole. They don't even sit in the dole anymore.
Benefits, isn't it?
Granddad, benefits. You know, like it's just ridiculous.
I just couldn't do it.
No.
And like, I'm a firm believer, if someone puts the mindset to something and you really, really want to do it, you'll do it.
Yeah, of course you will.
You know, and it depends who you surround yourself around as well. That's massive.
100%.
And then building relationships as well, which is key, and having that kind of right focus of who you want to fight, who you want to be mentored with, and you know, do you have someone that you aspire to be, and having that kind of drive, yeah, absolutely, yeah,
focus,
yeah.
You need an end goal.
Yeah, you do.
If you've not got an end goal, there's no point.
100%.
You know, that's the way I see it. I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult no matter what business it is. You're starting from fresh. It's difficult. You know, it's hard work.
Yeah, it is hard, and like people.
They don't see that side.
No, they don't. Like social media, it's all a bit smoke and mirrors, really. You know, you only want to advertise the good bits where you don't know what people are going to think. Or
it's a negative.
Yeah, it's negative, yeah.
To people, you know, but...
Sometimes, but everyone's gone through it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned recently after 9, nearly going into 10 years of Carter's. Very early days, I was very self-conscious about that. And I was very careful of what, you know, I've done this and I wasn't quite sure, and I didn't maybe reach out to someone that I could have reached out to. Yeah, people don't see the hard grind that you do in the back, like, I don't know, behind closed doors, if you will. And that's what makes that smoke and mirrors on social media. What are you laughing at? Is it because I'm moving my hand a lot?
Yeah, you need to stop moving your hand.
I can't help it. It's
you
my
like
nerves.
this, and
like, I just need like a maraca in there.
The claw's out. It's gonna get you.
I know, yeah. I like John Kerry. I do that to Isla all the time. She loves it.
Yeah, it's like the claw. It's just because you keep doing this.
I put my claw down, I promise. I put it in my pocket.
I'm so sorry.
No, sorry, not sorry.
It's not comical. It's a very serious matter. But no, I'm only messing. So let's you're doing it now.
Sorry. Go on.
So Harry, I mean, welcome to the tub.
Yeah, thanks.
This is my little setup, and you know, and I do welcome you, and it's nice for you to be here.
Yeah.
You know, we are in a space where it's very welcomed, and you know, we are welcomed, and we welcome others, and that's the way we see things, and that's what I've established with Carter's. To be fair, you know, and as a whole, as you and your family, they've always been welcoming, especially to me, you know, and
yeah, we go way back, really, don't we? Like a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Like,
you know,
I mean, how many years have we known each other?
I don't know, a long time, mate. Since I was a young kid. Since I was about, I think you was about 14, maybe 15, maybe
15, yeah, probably, yeah.
So how old are you now?
35.
So 20 years, over 20 years.
As well. Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
No, longer than that. 35, yeah, 20 years, yeah.
Wow. How old are you?
I'm 40.
Oh, yeah.
41 nearly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Halfway to 80.
No, don't be saying that. That's horrible.
The way I think of it is like, you had that really good 40 years now, you've got another 40 years to learn and live.
I think I learned and lived the first. No, maybe not. Yeah, I definitely didn't learn the first. But
You're going to learn the next 40 years from the first 40 years.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good analysis, or kind of, how would you say it, like an oval. What would you say? What would you
an analogy?
An analogy.
Or
I was not good at England at school. England was a subject.
There's no such thing as England. No. Or
England. I used to say England and allulations.
Illuminations.
I'm going to the allulations.
I still can't spell design, to be fair.
Can you not?
No, I'm dyslexic.
Good job you're good at drawing then.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what's the beauty of being a dyslexic. Sorry, there's a fly just running around. Well, he's not running, he's flying.
What you like.
I know.
So let's take you right back to where you began as as a young lad. I mean, what's the earliest kind of creative moment that you remember when you was younger?
Bloody hell. Probably, well, young, like meaning like 4 or 5 years of age, where you're like just making stuff at home, where you're bored at home, it was raining or something, and I'd make something out of milk bottles, and I'd go and find a little dike, and I'd literally got me and my mates, we'd go and like stay out all day, and we'd make these little boats, and we'd find a little where it's a little bit more rough, and we'd make these boats where we'd just like see whether or not they'd sink or swim.
Right.
So that was probably the first ever kind of what I can think of now. And then as I kind of grew.
So at an early age, you was like kind of creating spaces already, and
yeah, my mind, it was just like, I'm very visual and very kind of good with my hands, if you will. Where academic side has just not been my strong point at all. Yeah,
you mentioned you had dyslexia.
Yeah, I was like really. I mean, spelling is really bad for me. So I've got like my kind of my brain of visual and kind of technical and illiterate. I'm doing it again. This hand needs to go away. Right. I'll tell you what, I'll sit on it.
So just to repeat that. So like you mentioned that you had dyslexia.
Yeah.
How have you coped with that over the years?
Yeah. So when at school, primary school, the teachers didn't really understand it at that time. I'm doing it with this hand now.
That's all right.
So yeah, they didn't really understand it at the time at primary school. And then I got to about year 6 and I got tested for it. And it was probably to do with how I was in class. Because I wanted to learn, but I'd only learn things that I was actually enjoying. And if I got bored, I'd just switch off and I'd be daydreaming. I'd be looking out the window. I'd be that man that just class clown, wants that attention and aspires for that kind of laugh.
It's like the dopamine fix.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
more like traits of ADHD.
Well, as I've got older, and as people are getting more aware of what ADHD is, I've not actually been properly diagnosed, but I've certainly got traits of it. And I am actually going to get tested for it, really, because it's kind of, now I'm getting more aware of it and of how your brain works, and how I mean, even now, I mean, my brain just thinks about other things that are just totally not relevant of what we're talking about.
But do you not think that a lot of people with ADHD are very creative?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very creative. Yeah, like it's a superpower, I think. I mean,
it's a gift. Yeah. I mean, one of my aspirational, or not what they call, not aspirational, or figures. Not public figures, people that you look up to,
like mentors, or
like what are they called? Like someone that you
aspire to be.
Yeah. Well, not quite, because he's a multi-millionaire. But Richard Branson, I found out that he was dyslexic when I was about 4 or 5, and my mum. We went on a holiday to, I think it was Mallorca, and she found out that one of his villas was over this hilltop, and she was telling me all about how Richard Branson had dyslexia, and like she kind of helped me learn about what it is, and then show me what he's doing with his dyslexia, and made my mindset see how I could use it to my advantage. And that really was a pivotal point for me once I kind of understood actually what it was and why my brain switched off on certain things, and then I was really good at other things. I then dwelled on the good, and I did the good, if that makes sense. And the other bits like spelling, I just didn't want to do it. And that was just always.
It was okay.
It was okay. Yeah, but back in that day, when I was 4 or 5, it wasn't, because it wasn't really. They didn't really know too much about it. Now people are learning ADHD. It's all over the internet, and like, you know, people are talking about it quite freely. And similarly for dyslexia, teachers didn't know how to manage people with dyslexia, and they didn't know how to, like, you've got a different mindset of how you learn and how you take things in and how you actually remember things, where we'd have a conversation, or if someone said, or read a book, for instance, I'd read a book and the lines, like, they'd just jump. And when I'm reading, I'd have to put my finger next to it, and I had like pink glasses at one point where I was like...
I was the same. I was exactly the same, but they didn't put me down to dyslexia.
Right.
They didn't put me down to ADHD, maybe because I'm a little bit older.
Yeah.
They just put me down to disruptive kind of behaviour, because I was like...
They didn't know. I
remember people with ADHD, but they were like really heavily naughty in class or whatever. You know,
that was probably me, to be fair.
I could if I put my mind to it, or like you say, I did something that I enjoyed, or doing something creative, I was bang on. So I was middle set for everything, because I was so disruptive and because I was so naughty, so to speak. But I shouldn't have been in the middle sets. I should have been in the top sets for everything because of my ability.
Capability.
Yeah.
I was exactly like that, really. Like the things I enjoyed doing, I was in the higher sets, if you will, where I'm doing it with my hand again. I can't help it.
All right. So say again, sorry.
Pardon?
Say it again, sorry. What is
so
it?
When
you was at school?
At school, the things that I was good at, like I was in the higher sets, if you will, whereas the ones like geography or English, particularly, and geography, I didn't really like that, but I quite enjoyed it. Them kind of tedious French, for instance. I mean, I can't even do English at the moment. Like, French and learning German. Like, really struggled with that. So I was just not wanting to. I just kind of shut off and switched out a little bit.
Yeah, same.
And then, just wound the teachers up then as well, really.
So what about like art and stuff like that? I mean,
art was really good at. Like that was
technology.
One of the art, technology, drama. PE, PE, fitness.
Anything where you could express yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was like my strong points, really. But if there was any, I think it was just the way the lessons and like the school were just structured, and like, you sat behind a desk, you got a teacher teaching you the same thing that they've taught you over 50 years, where they have blackboards. Like the only thing that's probably changed is the whiteboard, and they're still trying to teach you that kind of way.
Now,
and like everyone, like when you run a business, everyone is so different. And like when you manage a team, like your team members, the way they learn and the way you've got to manage them, they're very different as well. And that you'll have different approaches in how you deal with certain people.
They don't teach you that at school.
No, they don't. And like that, and similarly, the teachers, they don't teach you in that way that you need to be taught, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
They're just trying to teach you that same, everyone's the same. Yeah. And I didn't like that, being that same person, because I knew I wasn't that same person.
Yeah, same. 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 So this is the same show. Yeah. Welcome to the same podcast. The same podcast and the same podcast.
Same.
You've heard it here first. He's just drinking his beer on set. We're all right. Really professional.
Just calming the nerves.
Calming the nerves, because I do that to people.
So finishing off school bits, right from primary school, depending on the teacher and how I was taught, really had an influence and a dynamic of how I listened and how I learned it, essentially. Yeah. Certain teachers, if they gave me the confidence and understood me in a way, that relationship would be really good with that certain person. Like, for instance, my old head teacher, Mr. Bailey at primary school, I was the captain of the rugby team, and although I was being naughty at primary school and then sent out to the staff room and
not really naughty though, like,
well, not naughty, just being mischievous and disruptive. Yeah. And I get sent to his office, and because I've got that good rapport with him and a good relationship, he'd be like, right, listen, Harry, what have you done now? This, you need to stop this, try and do this, try and do that. And then he'd give me a jelly baby, and then we talk about our next rugby game. And which was real. So I quite enjoyed getting to that kind of, all right, I'll be naughty and I'll go and have a chat with Mr. Bailey.
Jelly baby is what you wanted, really, wasn't it?
Babies. Yeah. And then going to high school, I had the same kind of issue where certain teachers, I just had that personality clash where we'd just not like one another, or like it was just a tough subject not tough, it was probably easy for me, but and then I just thought, right, well, I'll shut off now. I've got it.
The same. I feel like I'm speaking to a mirror.
And then there'd be certain teachers where they'd have authority, but they'd speak to you in a way where you'd respect, and they'd do it in a way that you'd actually listen to them. Yeah. I mean, there was then the other head teacher at high school, Mr. Simpkins. And again, he was very strict, and a lot of my friends, they hated him, but I had that kind of rapport where he kind of give me a little bit of time and a bit of support.
Because he knew he could see it.
Exactly, yeah. And there was a time where we all got called into a full school assembly. And there was a group of like my mates at school, and we were basically called out in the middle of the assembly. Lala Waterhouse, Dipstick Carter, and Poe Thornell, I think.
So the Teletubbies.
Teletubbies, yeah.
Why is that?
They were basically calling us out, saying that, you don't want to aspire to these idiots in school, because I think we just got caught. I think we got caught wagging lesson or something like the day before, and they were like, you don't want to be these kind of idiots at school, and like you'll never.
These are an example of what not to do.
Exactly, yeah. And that's always kind of been I like proving people wrong as well, which is great. That's always been a nice little drive where where something doesn't quite work out, let's say, or a personality clash.
Somebody tells you something, you can't do something.
Yeah, and I'll just go, no, watch me, I'll do it.
Watch me, I'll do it.
Yeah. And that gives me a real good drive, which is really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So who's kind of like been like your mentor in that sense? So like your head teachers?
Yeah. So, I mean, from early days, certain head teachers. And then as I've progressed through my career, there's when I went to college, first of all, at Blackpool.
What did you do at college? So you left school. Did you get any GCSEs?
Yeah, actually. So this is another funny story. So everyone thought I'd be thick as thieves. I wouldn't do very well. I'd probably get like an E and an F and a U or whatever. It got to the GCSE results day. I remember I was wearing a pink polo neck t-shirt, braces on, and then spiky hair on my hair, like we were called Carlton Massive at the time.
Carlton Massive.
Yeah. So
Booyakasha. Yeah, one of them. Yeah. Oh wow. Brilliant.
And we all turned up to like get our results, and I was thinking, well, it's not going to be too good. I actually got 13 GCSEs.
Did you?
Yeah, I got a B in art, which is creative, which is what I loved. Drama, I got a B in as well, or maybe a C. And then I got a C in English, a C in maths, and then I got a few Ds, which I thought was pretty good. So much so, Mr. Simpkins actually we had a picture with me and the head, and he put me and him on the front of the brochure for the school, shouting about people getting the GCSEs, and he was so kind of shocked about my achievement and getting all these. I was shocked as well, to be fair. Yeah. I think a lot of people were shocked just from me being how I was at school, always being a little bit mischievous. And then obviously coming out still doing well, doing okay. Yeah.
So you said that you did well at school with GCSEs and everybody was shocked. Yeah. How much have GCSEs affected your ability to create your business, create Carters? Have they affected them at all? I mean, has it made any difference whether you did get good GCSEs or whether you didn't get GCSEs, or whether it was the actual GCSE results? Have they had any influence on your life in a sense, like going forward from school?
This is going to sound really bad, but maybe not. No. I mean, like life skills, they don't teach you that. No. They don't teach you how to do a balance sheet. They don't teach you to do a profit and loss account. Yeah. They don't teach you how to save. Save money. Yeah. Bank accounts. Running a business. Things that actually matter.
Tax.
Yeah, exactly.
VAT.
Like that, I've had to learn along the way, and I've learned the hard way, because sometimes you do it the wrong way, and then you think, I need to do it. I've done that wrong. I need to change that next time, for instance. Yeah. School's probably been more of a
hindrance.
Yeah. And then because I was struggling with my dyslexia as well, it I could do it, and I could do it very well. It was just more, they didn't understand how I should have been taught in a way.
What do you think like kind of, what do you think should happen in schools then?
I think they need to be a bit more set up differently with regards to how, I've actually designed quite a lot of schools as well as I worked in Arcadis. So there's certain ways of how ergonomics and like people and, that how certain classrooms are set up for that particular subject. The room sizes, the colouring, the kind of all the different tones,
the sensory,
absolutely. Some people can learn better in certain environments than others, and actually understanding that level of human nature and how people, I'm doing McClure again, but how to actually design that in a way basically for people to learn. Classrooms, I mean, even still now, they're just 4 walls, a whiteboard maybe, and if you're lucky, you might have an interactive whiteboard.
So like, give me some examples of like this kind of stuff that you design in classrooms then.
What for? There was a school in Blackburn that we were working on behalf of the EFA, and there was an extension that we had to do for the school hall. And that was looking at the acoustic qualities, looking at the acoustic paneling, how, where are people standing? You look at how people project the voices, the roof heights, the ergonomics of, being multifunctional space. So if it was a high school, for instance, there's certain design criteria and guidance that you've got to meet for. You've got to meet for the type of school.
Go on.
So the whole.
This is going to take me a long time, bitches.
Oh my God.
No, it's funny. Right, go on. So so the school halls,
designing like anything. So we were talking about obviously how the room and like classrooms can have a big impact on how people learn.
Like it.
So like looking at colourings, looking at the way the furniture's set out. A good example, going back to Mr. Simpkins, the head teacher. So this is quite a funny story. I was actually acting as technical advisor on behalf of the EFA.
Right.
And we were basically building hundreds of schools around the country. And I had about 5 or 6 under my umbrella that I was going around reporting. And one of which was Aspire in Blackpool.
Right.
And High Furlough, which is special needs. And they had like multifunctional things that you needed to like multifunctional things. Why do I do that?
It's all right. Just chill, man.
So going back to Aspire, Mr. Simpkins was the head teacher.
Yeah.
And I was all fully suited and booted. I'd not seen him for years, bearing in mind.
Yeah.
And I was sat next to him, and there was a big progress meeting about how this new school is being developed and looking at the technicalities and, is it on program? How long is the things going to take? Is the things that we need to highlight that might need rectifying?
Yeah.
And I could see him, he kept on like looking at me, like in his brain. I could see his brain trying to think why and how do I know this guy? Yeah. And after the formal meeting, shall we say, we then did a bit of a walk around the site at the time. And he was like, I know you from somewhere. I was like, I can't believe you've not triggered of who I am. And I was like, I'm Harry Carter. He was like, oh my God. And like, he was just about to swear. And like, we're in like this head of like the educational funding agency people. And he's obviously the head teacher, but he obviously knew and then triggered who I was. And he was like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it's you. And I'm there suited, booted, looking the part.
Did he have jelly babies in his pockets?
No, he didn't have jelly babies at the time. No. And he was so... He was just so proud, and I could just see it where he was just like, "I'm so happy where that you've done something about your life, and you've not just gone down the wrong path, and you've worked." And I could see it, and he was very proud of where I was in that meeting, which was a nice little comfort. So when you're going back to what you were asking about, did school help me when I was growing up?
Yeah,
in a way, yes.
That's what. He? So he was a big influence.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so maybe not like the actual school academic part.
Take your time out for your students.
Yeah, and that kind of personal relationship.
Yeah,
that in business and having that relationship with a certain person or
Clients,
client, you know, is major. Like, you know, it's key for success.
Of course it is.
And that kind of,
that's what they need to teach you more.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Rather than just discipline, do this, do that.
And he went out of his way to help me.
Yeah.
You know, and not help me. I didn't need help. Like, as if
Can't do that for everyone though, can you? That's the only thing that, you know, I mean, they struggle themselves, teachers, because they're not on much money. I mean, you know, and I think I was earning as much as a teacher when I was like 22, you know what I mean? And it's like, I got told exactly the same. I'm never going to amount to nothing. I went to, you know, because obviously I'm electrical engineer by trade as well. You know, and it's like, I was in my 5th year and I was about to leave school and he was telling me to go for the army.
That's exactly what they said to me. Like, either go to the army
or be a mechanic. They were my choices. They were my choices to go and do. That's what they said to me. And I was like, no, I want to be an electrician. They were like, because that's what it intrigued me. You know, one of my friends, Paul Ellis, he was a year above me, and he'd started at Hurst and Danson and being an electrician. He was earning good money. Yeah, you know, I think it was about £2.88 an hour at the time, but he was like coming out of about 150 quid a week, and I was like,
great. You're like,
you know, and I was like, I want to do that. You know, my stepdad, he was a cable jointer, so he was kind of in the trade anyway, and I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I wanted to learn. I like taking things apart.
Hands-on experience.
You know,
creative.
It's creative. And they said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. They totally shrugged me off. Wow. You know, and I just went against the grain. Yeah. Which wasn't their intention. No. Wasn't their intention. They wasn't like trying to like trick me, you know what I mean? So I did go against them. They were telling me, you know, this is what we need to do.
That's what they actually thought.
And I didn't, and I went and did my apprenticeship, and you know, and obviously I've done all right out of it. You know, it's been a good career, but like it's just crazy how people can, you know,
perceive you,
judge
or judge you from a book from its cover. I get judged all the time sometimes, and you know, and it's sometimes I'll dwell on it, and I'll just let like that dwell, and then just come like say, let me start again.
That's all right.
Sometimes I'll dwell on the fact that I remember being out on a night out, for instance, and they were asking me, what do you do? And I was just like, why does it matter? Yeah. And then they were like trying to pull it out of me, and like,
who's this?
Whoever we were talking to at the time.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I just said, I'm a bin man.
Yeah.
Like generally, and even when I was a kid, to be fair, I actually did want to be a bin man. I used to go around like sweeping the streets with my mate Dominic, and we used to go around with this little brush and this little thing where we like put all the rubbish on the streets, and we used to actually go around sweeping the streets.
So like you could say that you've been like an entrepreneur from an early age.
From an early age, yeah, definitely, yeah.
So you went and did a joinery, didn't you? College, I remember you being a joiner.
Yeah, I was like I was a good joiner as well.
Yeah, you was, yeah.
Like,
how was that? How did that pan out? Like, how did?
So I mean, even from being like 12, 13, going out with your mates, that kind of building dens. I mean, dens that we used to make, like they weren't just dens. I mean, these were like 2-story tiered dens where they were like. I remember one time where my mum was looking for me, so I remember there's a fly. It's annoying. I remember one time where my mum called me and she was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm at the bottom at Civvy Centre."
Say that again. Sorry. Just stop and then start again.
So I remember one time when my mum was saying, "Where are you? You need to come home." And we made this den. I was like, "I'm not going home. This is amazing." And she actually came looking for me with her friends. And this guy that she was with, he actually was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I'm staying here with the kids and you go home." And he actually stayed with us and had chippy tea. Yeah, it's good. So that kind of joinery background, you know, just wanting to do stuff
even as a bit
more. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit there writing a book. That's just not me. Where I like doing stuff. I like building things, you know, I even like, you know, building what they're called. Lego, yeah. So then I've totally lost my train of thought.
It's all right, mate.
And then you asked about joinery, didn't you?
Yeah, joinery. Like, so you went to college.
Yeah,
and
so
you did
left
that for a few years.
Left school and then went and did joinery at Blackpool and Fylde. Did my NVQ. Worked for a local construction firm. Did the bench hand joinery first, just to kind of understand how the neat work, shall we say, in bench joinery, and
the precision stuff.
The precision, absolutely. You know,
because that's what you work with, don't you?
Totally, yeah. You know, like to the millimeter when you're doing bench. Whereas on site, you probably got a bit more tolerance, shall we say.
Yeah.
And there's some rough tolerances that you see around sometimes, which is not great.
Well, I know myself, it's pretty bad,
But joinery, I absolutely loved it. I know they earned really good money, as you were saying before. It was kind of like a good paying job at the time. So you come out of school, and then you're going into this apprenticeship where you're getting paid whilst you're still learning. It was great, and it was, it come to Friday, and you get paid at the end of Friday, and like it was good money. Sites all like a good time on site as well. You can have a really good crack on site.
Yeah.
Health and safety back then wasn't as strict as it probably is now. So that there's certain not laughs, but certain stories that I probably won't tell you now. But I can't even tell us. Come on. Bloody hell. So I remember one where we were actually in Preston rebuilding this chamber floor. And there was a guy where he was underneath this chamber floor, and there was me and two other joiners on top. We just literally put this chamber floor in, and we bolted it with resin anchors into the existing masonry. Yeah. And I think I was only an apprentice at the time, and I forgot to put 3 bolts at the end of the main kind of wall plate. And I got told to put, I was like, whatever you do, put them bolts in. And I just got distracted. This is my ADHD probably, that I just got sidetracked doing something else. And anyway, we then got loaded up with a load of block work because they didn't want to bring up the block work. And the floor just completely fell through, which wasn't great at the time.
Wow.
So it's quite serious on site if you do something wrong.
Wow. So come to Carter's.
Yes, come to Carter's.
Let Carter's build your house.
That's why I'm behind a computer now. No.
So
to be fair, I was a really good joiner about it. I actually did something called skill build. I actually won the skill build where we had to build like a truss roof, and whoever did it in the fastest and the most efficient and not clean way, but what do you call it?
Economical?
No, neat, but not good, but.
So this is where our English is rubbish.
I know.
No, I'm the same. England, no good school.
The precision. Yeah, the precision. Yeah. And your plumb cut and everything that needed to be done for a very small timber cut roof, and understanding your seat cuts and your bird's mouth and getting that absolutely to the T, and making sure that your saw was square to the right angle of your rafter. Even now, someday you'll look at certain joinery and like the workmanship, shall we say, isn't to the standard that it should be.
Right. Not the standard that you like anyway.
Yeah, I know, and I've always had that kind of mindset where I want to have everything perfect.
Better than perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And even from doing this very small timber cut roof, I made sure that it was perfect. And if it wasn't, I'd do it again.
Yeah.
And that's why I've done so well building Carter's, is because I am that kind of perfectionist and wanting to make sure that the precision is there and the technical elements, where I'm now in that technical background and that joinery background has given me a solid foundation essentially for being. I'm doing it again.
No, it's not. It's me. I'm just thinking about the 3 bolts story. That's probably where it's come from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you made that mistake when you was a young lad.
Absolutely.
A very young lad. I think that's where it's come from.
And that kind of,
because that was a bad mistake. That was a big mistake.
Something serious. And you've
got to learn from it.
Oh, 100%. And if you do it twice, you're an idiot. If
you do it 3 times, you're a goner.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And luckily, no one got hurt, but and we were all laughing about it. And the foreman came over and lost his shit. Yeah. I shouldn't swear really, but he totally lost it because we had to do it all again. And, it took a good few days to do this chamber floor, and we had to do it all again.
So tell me, going through your joinery career, how long was you joiner for?
Bloody hell. So 5 years.
Was you?
Yes. And then, at the same time as joinery, I then went to Blackpool and Fylde College and did a HNC.
What was that in?
So that was higher national certificate to like in construction.
Right, construction.
And that kind of
Construction management or just construction?
Just construction in general.
What did that involve?
So that was like looking at the built environment, looking at how to do a site survey, understanding feasibility studies, really like construction technology then, and not just kind of doing the graft as a joiner.
So you could say like the entwines of the
it's kind of
construction,
then looking at exactly, the technicalities of what I've been told to do as a joiner.
Why you've been told to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's understanding why they're asking me to do it this certain way.
Yeah.
Understanding building regulations.
Yeah.
Understanding the legislation.
Yeah.
Whereas a joiner, you're on site, you don't really, or you just get told what to do in a way.
Yeah.
Whereas the HNC kind of then opened my eyes to then learning this kind of new topic, if we will, or field.
Spectrum.
Absolutely. Into this built environment world where, there is legislation, there is kind of building regs, the kind of the technical elements of understanding how a foundation works.
So how did that make you feel? Was that did that excite you? Like learning all that? Like it opened your eyes to like the broad.
Absolutely, yeah. That was my pivotal point, I think, from being a joiner on site, where that kind of I got bored at that point. And again, we've got kind of on a relationship point of view, there was a lecturer at college that saw the potential in me, and he also not gave me that extra time, but could see that kind of path that I could potentially go down, and he kind of helped me in that kind of molding me into.
Who was that? Sorry,
it was a guy called John Smith. John Smith, yeah, and what a guy! Like Scottish man. Not that makes any difference, but his sense of humour was top notch, and we've been lecture, and
so it did make a difference because, like you said, that personal level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that kind of relationship again, where we had that same, we respected one another.
Yeah.
And that just kind of opened my eyes to understanding not just being a joiner on site and, going for a drink on a Friday. Like it kind of opened my eyes that there's something more here to become better. Not that being a joiner is bad. It just kind of gave me that insight that I could do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so then you went to, you did the HNC.
Yeah.
And I mean, what grades did you get for that? Did you do well?
So I got a distinction at the.
Did you?
So this is where my mindset changed.
What about your dyslexia? How did that affect you at college?
College, so at school, I actually got like extra time, and like doing the. Oh my God!
It's all right.
I got given extra time, and I was given a laptop because it was easier for me to then communicate and actually type rather than write.
Yeah.
So at college, I had a laptop where people then scribbling notes down, and then I could also then have a dictaphone where I could then record the lectures.
So you could listen back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because when you've got ADHD or which
so,
I think
that really helped. Where I actually enjoyed it. Where dyslexia, sometimes if you have a conversation, it's really difficult to remember it straight away. I might have to listen to it 2 or 3 times for it to properly sink in.
Sounds like ADHD that you've got.
It's a good combination of it. Yeah. So I mean, college.
Not that I'm a psychiatrist.
No.
Sat in the chair,
Sweating here. I'm okay.
Not that I'm a psychiatrist, but don't quote me on that. But it does sound.
No, yeah. So I'm going to get tested for it because I mean, once you kind of know that habit, you can then manage it. Then
you can manage it. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And that's where.
So you did well at college. So you did.
So at college, and I loved doing it. That. I was working on site still, but then doing my assignments at night, and then I was at college 1 day a week. Yeah. So that graft, kind of having to then go home and work and do my assignments at night time, was hard. But because I enjoyed the subject, it didn't feel like it was a pain to do. I actually wanted to do it. Yeah. And looking at the different topics of construction, it was just something that I just enjoyed doing.
Yeah. So you just looked at him for, it was kind of like music to your ears.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's good. That's nice. So then you've done college.
Yeah.
What did you do? How did you progress from there? I mean, what did you go and do? Did you go straight into a job, or did you go to uni, or what happened
so
then?
I mean, John Smith, he kind of I said, what's next? And I was like,
hungry for it.
Yeah. And he was like, well, I can always see you running your own business. And we had a conversation about, potentially going to university. And I was like, well, I'm not really the academic. And he was like, well, it's not just about the academic. You know, you if you choose a subject that you will enjoy, and there's certain subjects that obviously I enjoyed at college where I excelled further in than others, other topics. And we kind of toyed with either building surveying or architecture, because of my creativity and that kind of that just sat and was very good for me, basically, from a background, right from
the creative side.
Yeah, like building dens right the way through to being a joiner, and then having that enjoyment of seeing how things are built, and how they all come together. That technical mindset is just what sounded perfect at the time. So he kind of said, right, we'll try these two. I'd researched into the two subjects, if you will. And surveying was a bit more dynamic, and it had a lot more avenues that you could go down, and you could then specialize in certain topics. So I went and did a surveying degree at Salford University,
where architecture was more just straight down design. Now that's not probably, I know some architects are probably going to listen to this and they're going to think, oh, well, it's not. It was more, I felt surveying at the time for me it just gave me a little bit more scope, and that kind of technical background, because I was a joiner. Technical understanding.
Yeah, where like it's more kind of looking at buildings. It's like it's a doctor of, like, if you're a doctor for humans, a surveyor is essentially a doctor of buildings.
Right.
It's understanding the veins of a building, and understanding how they're built, and not only how are they built, but then how do they then transform over the years, and looking at how they then survive. And if
how they age,
and if they don't age very well, they then start occurring defects, and it's understanding and the science and the pathology behind it, actually how that defect has then occurred.
Building them chromosomes perfect so that they can't happen.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where having a design and surveying practice now, not only do I have the practical experience, I have the technical experience, and then the kind of creative side as well. So
Dr. Carter.
Absolutely. Here we go. Yeah. Doctor of building.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry, I've interrupted you then.
So no, it's fine. Yeah. So them three kind of qualities, shall we say, of a surveyor, worked hand in hand. So went to Salford University.
How old was you then, Haz?
I was actually classed as a mature student when we went to uni, because
so you didn't need GCSEs or anything like that.
Yeah,
to get in?
so I skipped. I didn't skip, but usually you have to go to do your A levels to get into uni.
Yeah, straight out of school.
Yeah. Whereas because I did my joinery and did a HNC, that joinery and HNC actually gave me an advanced level entry straight into the second year,
which you didn't need your GCSEs for to do the joinery straight away.
No, I didn't know. So it's more so the MVQ. And then the HNC, which I distinction in. So then, because I got a distinction, I basically skipped the whole first year of the course at the uni, because I'd done it. Our kind of knowledge was rather than the fresh meat and have no clue about the construction.
Yeah, straight from A levels.
School,
because you're still kind of in that kind of classroom mindset where you're still getting told what to do, go and do homework, and you're numb to the world.
Totally, yeah.
You know,
whereas I've got a bit more practical experience from doing what I did. So I went straight into the second year, and kind of missed the freshers bit, which I was quite glad, to be fair, because I was wanting to do well here now. I was kind of in that mindset.
No partying.
Exactly. Yeah. So I got a really nice apartment in Manchester, lived there for 8 years. It was great. Lived with a guy called Rick Bunting, right at the end of Deansgate. Fantastic apartment, Tempest Tower, 8th floor, and we had some absolute great times in Manchester. It was really good.
Yeah, I remember.
And it broke us. I mean, I've gone from a high earning joinery background, earning good money, and then I had to basically take a step back to then take that leap forward in essence, where I've then thought, right, well, I'm going to quit my joinery. I'm going to go to university. I had to then pay for this university myself.
How much was that? Like,
I mean, I was in debt with my uni fees. It was like $9,000 a year. So I mean, all that
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. So you can tot that up.
27.
It's a lot. Yeah. And that kind of. And then you've got to live, you've got to get, and thankfully there were grants that could help you, and you get like a student loan. So I've actually been able to pay that all back now, which is great. So yeah, university was it then further opened my eyes then with where I wanted to go. And I actually we had to get a part-time job.
Was there any points at uni where you thought, this is the wrong decision?
No, I remember being in the apartment, and I actually made this 5-year Gantt chart. And I had this kind of set where I'd set myself weekly, monthly and yearly targets of where I wanted to be. And I did this where it was like a massive piece of paper that I'd then sellotaped together and put it on my wall in the bedroom. And that was my goal. And that was my 5-year plan to get chartered as a surveyor. And it took me, I was going to do university full time. But then I went for a job called a company called Arcadis, big international consultancy in Manchester. We had at the time 22,000 people working for them, multidisciplinary profession. And I got offered a job doing like an apprenticeship with them, essentially.
Like a what's it called? Intern?
Yeah, like an intern. So I then changed my full-time study at uni to 1 day a week at uni and then 4 days working.
So it's adaptable like that. You can do that, can you?
Yeah. So that I was getting hands-on experience, then being an apprentice
again.
Absolutely, yeah. So I've had that apprentice joinery background. I then did it becoming a surveyor.
Right.
And that hands-on experience, I'd highly recommend if anyone's wanting to kind of go through the ranks and go and become a professional in your career. I'd certainly recommend go for shadowing, go to them practices where you can actually get that hands-on experience.
And that company where you was.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of academic side is totally different to the real world.
Yeah.
And going back to the school, what we were talking about before, that, they teach you a set subject.
Yeah.
And even at university, it is very
structured in that way.
And it's
the curriculum.
It's very
in a sense, like it's very classroom oriented.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then having said that, though, the two lecturers that we had, David Horsfall and bloody hell, what was he called? They were both trading. One was a trading architect and one was a trading building surveyor.
Right.
And they were like a duo. They were like Ant and Dec, but in the built environment world, where they'd like stand up and like, for instance, they were like, if you want to become a surveyor, you need to know where to go. It's not that you're just going to go around and have everything in your head and then walk around with your head, because you'll just tip over and your head you can't manage it.
Yeah. And
it's not just knowing everything. It's about understanding where to go and, making sure that you make the right decision in a more meticulous way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
there was a big inspiration then.
Yeah, exactly. So it's then that next phase, or that wave, if you will, of people that then inspired me to then want to then do well. And, my dyslexia at the time was a struggle, but because I wanted to learn this topic, I spent so many hours doing my assignments. I'd be, as soon as we got the assignment, I'd start it. Some people just leave it till last minute.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Leave it till last minute.
I'd set my plan up. So like my 5-year plan, I'd literally go, right, I'd make a brainstorm. I'd picture my introduction. I'd do all the little spider diagrams of how I'm going to set this assignment out. And then I'd set myself weekly targets of what section I wanted to then finish the assignment within. And that really helped me kind of structure how I kind of, my time management, if you will, and like working, I'd be working full time the company where I'm getting hands-on experience. And then I would then have to go home and then do my assignments. And there'd be some nights where I'd be sat 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning still having to do my assignment, where I'm just, and not just because I was behind, I enjoyed doing it. And it was like that kind of vibe where I had the full city centre nightlife, lighting, full height windows looking over the city, and I had my screen and my computer, and I just, that kind of zone. Yeah. I loved it. It was great.
And that's kind of like, that shines off now.
Yeah.
With the company.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even now, clients, I'll do my best to not let them down. If I have to work late, you'll do it. You got to really, and have that kind of,
like we were saying before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You've got to put the hours in. And it does shine through, and that's why. How long have you been going for now?
9 years. 9.5 years, yeah. So
it's coming up to 10.
10, yeah. Big 10-year anniversary, yeah.
Wow. Well, having a big party then, aren't
Yeah, and they say, and it's been a 9-year slog.
Yeah.
It's hard running a business. It can become a lonely space sometimes.
Very lonely space.
And you learn the hard way, sadly, sometimes.
You've got to.
Yeah, and it's just making sure if you do learn that hard way, you do it in a way where you make sure not everybody knows that you've learned the hard way.
Yeah.
But like in a way where
Keeping a positive mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You've got to keep that positive mindset, because if you don't, that's where sometimes people don't continue with it, because if they've not got that drive to that's easier to say, you know what, sorry, I'm not doing it.
Like Richard Branson, like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's had that drive, he's had that mindset, he's had that 5-year plan, and I've always.
And he's lost a lot.
Yeah,
he's lost a lot of businesses, but yeah, he's kept going.
Yeah, totally. And like I noticed a period where I didn't have my 5-year plan,
right?
And I could see, like, I just didn't have that drive, if you will. I didn't have that set out. And having that plan of where, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, I feel that helps massively, just for even like on the day-to-day thinking. If you know where you want to be 5 years
manifest
time,
it.
You kind of then day-to-day, right, I know I want to be there.
You manifest it.
Absolutely,
yourself.
Absolutely. And you kind of like you sink it in and, drill it into your kind of mindset. And that's what I've done.
Yeah. It's inspiring.
Yeah.
It's inspiring, to see how well you have actually done, from being at uni, you know, and living in Salford, when he was living in Salford there, in the upside down houses.
Yeah, Chimney Pot Park.
And being from there, I remember, and we used to come down and we used to go out for food and stuff and have a couple of drinks, whatever, but, nothing too crazy, because you was always, it was always
mindset and wanting to do most.
Exactly, and it was like your head was on your shoulders, and it's nice to see, and it's good to see that you've built this reputable company that's absolutely at the forefront of what you do, what you specialize in, and it's like I see your signs everywhere all over the town. You know what I mean? And I look up and I think that's my mate. And it's proper inspiring.
That's really good to.
No, it's nice, man. It's and it's a really good thing to see. Yeah. And your family will be proud of you, and I'm proper proud of you, and everybody will be. That are around you, and it's like. It's really nice to see that, and it's good that you can come here and share that with us, and it's like, and it's brilliant.
When I first started my career, shall we say, at Arcadis, I had a formal interview. I really had to go through like the recruitment, which I've never really gone through, like the kind of rigorous recruitment process. And there was a phone interview first. There was then a face-to-face interview, and then there was a technical face-to-face interview to see what you were like technically. So this 3-staged interview, shall we say, was really nerve-wracking. But there was what was my team leader and manager, and another team leader out of another team. And this guy he was big, bald head, rugby kind of type physique, shall we say, yeah. Anyway, I got the job. Like cut a long story short, and they were asking me questions in the interview, and they were like, obviously saying, "So, what's your technical background?" And they were asking all about technology and asking what a foundation was. Can you draw me an ease detail? And obviously, with my background, I had no problem doing the technical questions at all. So I 2 weeks later, I was waiting for this to see whether or not I was going to get this job. Got a phone call and an email saying, congratulations, you're now on this graduate program. We're going to offer you an apprenticeship. But before you start, we need you to do a check on you just to make sure that you are who you are. And then also just that your background's okay. Because we were working at schools.
Like a CRB check.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So they did a CRB check.
Is it a CRB?
Not CR.
CRB is your motorbike license,
what are they called now? Like, I don't know. Basically,
criminal record check. CRB, yeah.
CRB, yeah. So, criminal. What's it stand for? CRB.
Criminal record
bureau, or
maybe, I don't know. Background.
Of course.
Background check.
Anyway, CRB check.
Yeah. Go on.
So, I was then panicking, thinking, oh my God. So my background, obviously talking about Carlton Massive and getting in trouble with the police.
Carlton Massive.
Yeah. And we knew the police by name, and the police would walk onto the park and they knew who we were and we knew who they were. And I was thinking, well, my record's it was just small, petty kind of young, dumb crime kind of scenario. I got called into a meeting like literally 1 week into working at this place, and they said, right, we just need to have a little chat with you, Harry. And it was just me and this manager. And I probably shouldn't really say this on camera, but it's funny, it's good. This relationship was formed pretty much instantly with my new team leader. Yeah. And he was then another next kind of mentor type guy that then took me through my career, shall we say, from uni to then starting my professional competence and starting my actual career. And he said, I just want to go through your CBR check. And anyway, he got it out. CRB, sorry. I need to remember that. I got CRB in there.
Is it a CRB? Pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah. Anyway, this record that they go through and have a look to make sure that you're not a paedophile, basically, if you're going into schools. He basically said, and it wasn't just one piece of paper. So it was, and he printed it off, and it was the way they post it to you. And it's like an old fax kind of holes down the side. And anyway, he unfolded it, and it just like was like a scroll, and it just there were all these kind of like petty crimes, and it was just like, I've got to ask you this question, Harry. Now all these things that you were doing are obviously a long time ago, but there's one that was most recent where it was like a year ago where I egged a little girl with an egg, obviously at Halloween, and I got done for Section 39 assault for egging her on the head, right? And I had to pay a 70.
What was it? Just go and slap an egg on her head?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like ran up to her and went.
Who was it? Like someone like
I can't even remember.
Little girl.
Well, I was a little boy at the same time as well, so she was like, so we were just little and young and dumb.
You said a year ago.
No. So, yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe.
This is getting me a bit, like, confused. Fuck you.
No, basically, like, edit that.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Little girl.
Fuck's sake.
Anyway, going back to this.
Egging little girls.
Yeah, so
welcome to Carter's.
Yeah, so this CRB check was going back and looking at my background, and I was panicking, thinking, oh my God, there's all sorts on there from like petty crime, like all sorts of.
From when you was a young kid?
Young kid, basically, yeah.
In the Carlton Massive.
Yeah, and they opened this scroll, shall we say, with things, and there was some on there that I'm not proud of, and he asked me, making sure that none of that happened am I still in that kind of mindset? And I just said, listen,
from when you was 10?
Yeah. And I just said, I was just a kid, just finding out what I wanted to do. And, I was testing who I wanted to be. Yeah. And he said, well, I'm just going to put this in a drawer. And if they ever ask for it, just be careful. So anyway, he put it in his drawer, and it was never to be seen again because
they probably got put in the shredder.
Yeah, basically, yeah, and just that one kind of having a good relationship with someone, and him again seeing that kind of potential in me, and like giving me that opportunity, shall we say, where that could have maybe not given me that opportunity. Where if it got pulled, I mean, it was so petty, some of the stuff. But someone might have looked at it thinking, "Oh my God, we've got an absolute criminal here." Where he's egged someone with a head and got done for.
I think you've got to have that. I think you've got to have that kind of. You've got to have that kind of diverse mindset as a tutor.
Yeah,
and as
team leader kind of scenario where
when you're taking somebody on, like I've took people on in the past where that their criminal backgrounds have been pretty colourful, but to say the least.
Yeah, of course.
But they've been. They've shone, they've become the best workers.
Absolutely.
And they've done really good for my company and stuff, and it's like
personality.
Yeah, it's all about whether you've learned from your mistakes and whether you can carry on like being not, I wouldn't say a good citizen, but like just learning from your mistakes and understanding that you can, that's
wrong.
That's the past.
That's the one path that you could have gone down, and this is another path that you need to go down. And
sometimes you've got to give people a chance.
Absolutely, yeah. And I got given this chance by this guy, and what a guy he was. And he gave me that inspiration, and he took me under his wing, and he taught me everything that he knew. Yeah. And he was so good at his job. He had an on-site background. He played rugby, so did I, and we went cycling outside of work as well. And we kind of, not just in a work environment, we had that kind of not outdoor, but that outside of work, social kind of environment, like cycling. And that just
common ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like business, you've got to find that common ground with clients, with your employees. And if you don't have that, it just won't work.
Yeah.
And some people you will clash with.
Yeah.
And that's just life. Personalities will clash. And sadly, you just don't associate with them kind of people. That sounds wrong, really, but
you steer the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just be very straight, very narrow, and just manage them in a different way, really. I guess.
Yeah.
To the best of what you can.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So like people come to you negative. I mean, what kind of negative should I say? Like people come if you're dealing with a negative client.
Yeah.
What kind of position do you put yourself in? Like as in how do you build yourself to that like?
Yeah, there's certain clients where you have to build their trust, and you just have to prove to them that whatever, like for instance, we have a lot of clients that actually come to us because they've been burnt before by another practice, right, and they've had bad experiences, or they've done something wrong, and then they come to us and they say, "Oh, I wish we came to you first."
Yeah.
And because they've had that negative experience with someone else previously, they've got that mindset where they might be slightly negative in that process, or they might have spent 12 months and 50 grand on a project where it's just been wasted.
Yeah.
And then I'm having to step in and then manage that project and then manage them as well in a way where we're then having to then rebuild that kind of sense of trust because they've been burnt before.
Yeah.
And I quite like that challenge, really, but with that kind of type of client, shall we say, where it just makes me then want to do better for them and actually then think, no, okay, you've been burnt before. Let me show you how it should be done.
Yeah.
And that's always been where I want to be, really, with business.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And that shows it shows the person you are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I think that comes from, like you say, like, your mentors when you were younger, like when you, let's say, at school and and this, that, and they've give you the time.
Yeah.
They've stepped back.
Yeah.
They've looked at how you've been tripped before, how you work, and you do that now with your clients. You reflect that back out on your clients.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, really good.
And that's it brings that personal trust,
Absolutely,
and that work kind of ethic, and social kind of how can I say it? Togetherness, like and like I say, the trust and rapport, and it's that's brilliant.
That's everything.
It can run through any business, that though, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you earn that trust with someone, you could do repeat business every day.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get that trust with anyone, but once you've got it,
especially someone that's been burnt by another
absolutely,
client, by another,
yeah, totally. And then once you've actually pivoted that mindset, then they start realizing how good it is,
how much you're worth,
how much it is, and that's it, and how much your worth is. And I've had clients in the past where they were like, I should have just come to you previously. I mean, and we're not the cheapest, but we know our worth, and we know why we are where we are, because we like to do things right first time.
Yeah. And you do got that extra mile.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what made you come to the place where you are today, Carter's Building Consultancy?
Yeah.
Where did that begin for you?
So obviously, being at Arcadis, huge international building consultancy, I felt that I could do more on a personal approach. Where when you're in such a corporate environment, there's loads of red tape. Things take 10 times as long as maybe they should. And I had that I always wanted to do more. And there was a certain topic where, like, sustainability, and I did a design critique on the One Angel Square, which is one of the most sustainable buildings in Manchester.
Okay.
And as I did my design critique and dissertation on this particular building, and it was all about sustainability, how a building can perform and going over and above the minimum requirement. And that I wanted to do that, and that kind of opened my eyes, where Carter's, I wasn't really thinking about Carter's at the time when I was at Arcadis, but I was wanting to give that more about the projects that we were working on, and That doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
Let me rephrase this. So I wanted to do more about sustainability, and I wanted to be more creative in design and architecture, where the projects that we were working on at the time were very restricted. It was government funded. And the budget was absolutely key. The flair and creativity, sadly, when you are that creative and you are that kind of, you want to go that extra mile with sustainability and looking at additional renewable energy points or systems, shall we say, for particular projects, the budget does go a lot more.
So you feel very restricted working for somebody
absolutely,
else.
Yeah.
So you wanted to kind of
open.
I
wanted to then explore that and be more me and show my personality and what I wanted to give for it. So I got given an opportunity to do a bit of a foreigner for a friend.
Side job.
Yeah, basically. And they said, I'm thinking about an extension on my house. Would you come and do it for me? I've seen what you've done at uni. I think I showed them my designs that I did for my assignments at the time, and then the stuff that I was doing at work. I mean, the designs we were doing at work, I was very creative, where we were like looking at SketchUp, we were looking at Revit at the time, and not a lot of people were really good at it, where I was really kind of like the
forefront.
The visual and the kind of the how to present it to clients and really kind of going that little bit more creative in not just your box building or your 4 walls and a flat roof and put a window in the middle and a door. I was just wanting to go that bit more quirky and a bit more adventurous, I would say. So this opportunity came and like, we want a single store extension, we want a big open plan kitchen dining room, and we want to maximize our living space. So I took everything that I've learned from uni, being at work, and then started designing, sent it through planning, and also project managed it as well, which was so that they kind of said, would you help manage the contractor and help us with the payments and like, throughout the whole process. So that was a good kind of 12 months foreigner for me, basically, like working in Manchester and then coming back to St. Anne's and like Polton the Fylde at weekends and like maybe once a week, one day every other week during the week time, just to meet the contractor and the client.
So that was so you was at uni, you was at work, and you was coming back doing this again.
So it was a lot, but I liked that, kept me busy. So that went really well. And the design that we did, it was a bit quirky. I had a lovely zinc roof. It was like fully vaulted ceilings internally. Word of mouth. So they said, "Oh wow!" Like once that had finished, we had a great builder as well that did the work for them, and they loved it. And they obviously got friends. They were talking, and all of a sudden, it was like my phone was like, "Oh, I know you've just done the extension for such and such. Would you mind coming and have a look at ours?"
Right.
And then I was thinking, wow, like so that this one job is then all of a sudden I've got 3 like what they call projects that are like, all right, and I was like, I can't do all these all at night time and the weekend.
Obviously, it's a lot.
So you're
going to end up running yourself into the ground.
Absolutely, yeah. So I took the leap of faith, really.
Yeah.
And I think I had $5,000 saved up in my bank. That was it, I think, because I was broke from uni. Literally uni, like broke. Because I remember when we were like counting 20p's to go out for a beer one night when we were at university, just to kind of like go for a beer. And then I like saved about $5,000 from them working like part time when I got the job. And I thought, let's do it. Did a little bit of a forecasting to make sure that I could live.
Right, so you used your kind of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What you've been taught at uni to forecast your...
Yeah, so I did a full business plan and then
how to spend the money,
my income, and then went through all my personal expenditure, made a big spreadsheet, and then graphs and again, this is like learning from
nothing that you get taught at school.
No, very true. Yeah, but then when you do your APC to get chartered, there is a business development module that you have to understand, where you then look at profit and loss and looking at understanding business, which was absolutely fantastic.
And that helped you, like,
oh, totally,
just with your
yeah,
money.
Yeah, totally, yeah. So I mean, your APC basically is to make sure that you are competent enough to go out in the industry and go out there on your own.
Yeah.
So these modules are there to kind of set you up for running your own business.
Right.
So I was actually one of the youngest chartered members of Rick's when I got chartered.
Really?
And then I went on to win the Young Surveyor of the Year award due to the work I was doing and kind of helping the schools and doing everything that what we're doing at previous projects.
What was that with your company?
Yeah, with the previous company, yeah.
Right.
So after getting chartered, I did another 12 months with this company just to then get my chartered experience.
While you were still doing the stuff on the side.
So I was working full time, and then I was chartered, so I wasn't doing any uni work then. So I had a bit of time then to do foreigners. And then I was like, right, well, what's next? Like, I was like, it was getting to the point where I was going home after work and I've not got my Gantt chart up on the wall anymore to do my uni work. I was like, right, well,
what's the next?
What's the next thing? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I just thought, sorry, let's do it. $5,000 in the bank. Started on my mum's dining room table.
Yeah.
Moved back home.
Yeah.
Like having this lovely apartment, living in Salford, and like a nice apartment in Manchester. Thought, sorry, right, we'll move back to the Fylde Coast and literally working on my mum's dining room table.
Right.
And then another job came, did a really good job there, and it was just word of mouth. Like, you know, you do a good job.
It follows through, yeah.
Follows through, yeah, absolutely.
You're only as good as your last job.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And funnily enough, when we were talking about when things go wrong, I had a project where things went majorly wrong. Not because of me. Contractor went bust.
Right.
And it was one of my very first big projects that we did everything, where we took it to, we did the feasibility, planning applications, technical design, sent works out to tender, and then offered like a project management role during construction. And this was like a house that was getting fully remodeled, and it was like an old Tudor kind of arts and crafts styled originally, and it was like totally dilapidated and needed a shed load of work to get it back to standard. And we kind of come up with this concept where we kept everything all very traditional at the front, and then at the back was very contemporary. And it had like I think it was about 14.5 meter stretch of sliding doors across the back of the house. It was like grand design style kind of house. And the contractor went bust halfway through. And thankfully, because of all the documentation that we had, like, you know, contracts in place, MBS specifications, and the bits, you see a picture on social media, you don't see the technical understanding and, you know, the contractual element that you need to tie that contractor in to make sure that, and not just for the contractor, but for the client, you know, and having that technical ability to help a client when things go wrong. And when things do go wrong, you've got to make sure that you're able to get out of that mess the right way.
Because they do go wrong.
I mean, construction goes wrong all the time.
Yeah, of course it is.
And, you know, and it's about it's about finding that way. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And that's what you found. What did you find that was like more? It was a strong point.
I love the challenge. Yeah, it's great, and it's like, right, well,
because you were so on point with what you were,
because of the documentation. I mean, like, people didn't, and the contractors, to be fair, so depending, you know, you go to site and you're wearing a suit, young lad, blonde hair, like oh, who's this like young kind of guy out of university, knows nothing, when really I knew it like a lot, and then you start talking, and then you're like, oh, you were joining in the back like previously, and then they'd kind of like come to a bit of a common ground,
and then you talk, common ground again,
and then you talk about the building regs, and then all of a sudden I'm then telling them what to do, and they're like, oh, right, okay. And they'll listen to you because you actually sound like you know what you're talking about.
Because you do.
Because I do.
Yeah.
And that,
I know what it's like on site.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. So that kind of, when this project went wrong and the contractor went, like, sadly started going into administration, but before that, they then started trying to like go in for extras. They were trying to then blame other things that
because they knew it was coming.
Because they knew were coming, and they were like, right, well, how can we get a bit more money out of this project because we've got no money. Let's try and, Harry's a young lad. He's fresh out of Manchester, and let's see if
So they try to use you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And little did they know how technical I was, and little did they know how contractual I was able to like.
And how many bullets you had?
Bullets you had. That kind of now, like that gave me another kind of
booster
motive where I love contract law, and that kind of not dispute, but that kind of just making sure the client's watertight with how things are set up.
Yeah.
And if it does ever get a bit tetchy, particularly this first job that we were doing, having that ability to then make sure it's okay. If that doesn't really make, well, yeah, basically,
of course.
And the client's protected.
Yeah, protection.
And they just, it's having that confidence to then everything that you've learned, follow through with what you've learned and put it into practice.
Yeah.
And that's make or break. Then I thought, that shit, everything's going to go wrong here. It's one of my first big jobs. Everyone's going to think that the whole job's going to go tits. Yeah. And actually, I just
put pressure on yourself.
Yeah, put pressure on myself, and I actually stepped up. I then said, right, well, I'll manage it. Project managed the whole job right from the end after these contractors went into administration, and then I single-handedly then was the guy on site, and not only did we design it, but then I was the guy then managing all the trades on site.
You built it.
And built it. And that kind of work ethic where something went wrong and I said, right, well, tell you what, I'll fix it for you, but this is how I'm going to do it. That was a pivotal point for Carter's, particularly where people saw he's not going to let me down.
Yeah.
You know, and if something does go wrong, he's got my kind of...
he's got your back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what you need in this kind of industry where you need to make sure that someone's there to make sure that things are right.
Yeah.
You know,
capture if you fall.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. You know, and it's kind of having that rapport and relationship where, you know, it works hand in hand.
Yeah, of course.
And thankfully that was the only job that went sadly a little bit the wrong way.
Well, it didn't. It went in the right way, you know, because you saved it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But at that time, it felt like it was going that way. And then now, when you look back, it went the right way, really, of course, because they were trying to have the pants down of the client, and I was there thinking, no, you're not doing that. And like that's just totally wrong and totally unethical. And lo and behold, they went into administration.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. No, it is.
So going back to your original question, how Carter's evolved and why that kind of was...
That was amazing.
That was the main one, really. And then it was like, right, well, we want more of this. And then I started looking at my business plan again. And then I did my 5-year plan of where I wanted to be and did a full business plan for the business. And it just kind of went from one job to another job. And we were getting these recommendations and working on some really nice like projects, from like lovely multi-million-pound single dwellings across the country, really. I mean, we're predominantly northwest based, but contractors that we were working with, they were very broad in their kind of location, which then gave us the opportunity to then be a bit more geographical. So yeah.
Where's the best place? Like should say best place. Where's the easiest place that you've worked, and where's the hardest place? Like, I mean, like obviously with like councils, building regulations.
Yeah.
You know, like people, because does it differ? I'm not sure whether does it differ from.
It depends on the use.
Right.
So if it was a commercial building.
From councils, is it different from council to council, does it?
No, so there's a set regulation for your planning legislation, and that's pretty much across the board, where there is then local policy that you then have to adopt for, so
like residential.
Yeah, so and they'll have certain set policy requirements and criterias that they set every 5 years.
Like the Greenbelt thing?
Yeah, so like Greenbelt, for instance, certain councils won't let you build in Greenbelt whatsoever unless it's either very special circumstances,
as in?
You've got to prove that it's either truly outstanding and innovative. Right. It's one of a kind. It's going to be something out of the total ordinary, and it's going to raise the standards in the kind of the rural areas and in the kind of the green belt.
How would you go about proving something like that?
well, it is very opinionated, to be fair.
Because I know it's just people's judgment.
Yeah,
right?
like certain councils ask for specialist advice where they'll consult particular architectural practices that specialise in that.
All right. Okay.
And then you've got to then basically put your story of how you think it's truly outstanding and innovative.
Yeah.
We had a development for 4 houses where it was one of the. It's actually it was going to be and still is going to be one of the first carbon neutral developments in kind of like the Northwest era, which we then had to prove how we were going to get to that point. And you know, there's lots of buzzwords in the industry: carbon neutral, passive, that kind of, but
renewable energy.
Yeah, totally. And that kind of that standard. Certain practices have different perspectives of how they believe
that should be put into practice.
Like carbon neutrality is one practice might think it's this.
Like different locations, did he set different guidelines and set, you know, within like your industry? I mean, you know, how difficult is that for you to kind of work for manage? Yeah, because you know that must be a challenge, right?
So there is set national policy for planning, and then there is local policy that then you need to follow, and then it's basically you've got to research, you've got to learn the
and that's your
policy.
job to do that for your clients.
That's my profession, where they're coming to me and making sure that I understand that policy, and know it inside and out, and how to manage that policy to become successful. Because there's certain ways where, for instance, in Greenbelt, where lots of people may think that you can't build. We've done developments before where we've found how to get planning on Greenbelt, you know, limited infill or very special circumstances. There is a way of doing it, but it's just then telling your story and having the detail and going above and beyond for that kind of complex
consultancy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's building regulations where they're pretty much set standard for the whole of England and Wales, and then depending on the type of use of a building, that will then fluctuate and vary the type of legislation, I guess, that will then
like HMO and things.
And there'll be certain set regulations for an office complex as opposed to a residential apartment complex, basically.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you find that challenging, and you love that kind of work.
Yeah, I love it, and like having to. And if I don't know the answer, I certainly won't just try and blag and think that I'll find out and then tell the answer, and I'll only advise when I know it's right.
Yeah.
And that was a big point of becoming chartered, really, where if you don't know the answer, don't try and pull the wool over someone's eyes.
Because there is a lot of people out there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and it's damaging. You know, it can have massive impact on businesses and then your client, essentially, if you say something or not necessarily say, but do something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I've got £3.5 million professional indemnity insurance to cover my potential negligence, if you will. If I advise a client wrong, I could be held accountable. You know, and the projects that we run now, you know, I was looking at the books, and we were managing like 18 jobs at one point, and you know, you accumulate how much that project value is worth altogether. You know, we're talking like multi-million pounds worth of project value that's been managed in like a week. In the practice. And if something, I don't know, let's going back to my joinery days, and the floor falls through. That could be catastrophic. You know, so I don't know what I was going with that, but
no, you've got to just make sure your precision. You know, your kind of experience is worth.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
you know, and that's the main thing. That's what you believe in, and that's what you built Carter's on.
Exactly, yeah. That's going back to what the initial question was.
That's what you built Carter's on. That kind of, you know, that kind of rapport and that technical ability to do that. That's amazing. Yeah, you know, and it's like I say, it's absolutely kind of inspiring, you know, to listen to that and kind of come to that, because I've not really how can I say it? I've not really you know,
been known to that kind of.
No, not been known. You've not really spoke to me about you know, even though we've been friends for quite a while. You know, you've not really told me about the ins and outs of business in that sense, and it's good to hear, and it's good to, you know, because I'm in the building industry myself, like, as an electrician or whatever. So it's like, it's good to get an understanding of like the consultancy side of things, where the advice and like, you know, the technical advice that you give, and like that kind of, you know, rapport that you do get with your clients, and, you know, and the trust build, and, you know, and it's nice to hear. It's fantastic to hear that, you know, because there is, I've been to some jobs and they've been horrendous, you know, and I wish I had people like you,
that can
that were there beforehand, and it would have implemented that. You know what I mean?
It would like, okay, it's an upfront cost initially, but it does actually save you money. Yeah, because if they've done it wrong and then you're having to redo it, I mean, you pay cheap, you pay twice. Yeah, you know, whether that's with everything really.
Yeah,
you know, you buy a cheap phone, it breaks the next day, or if you know, and that's where. It's good to have someone like that.
No. So you're saying like, you know, it's the foundations. Yeah. Your foundations are built strong. You build your foundation strong. Yeah. It stays strong. You know, and that's basically what you build your company around. The foundations.